CNN host Jake Tapper is defending his colleague Kaitlan Collins after she was the target of a Truth Social rant from President Trump. On Saturday morning, Trump wrote in part, "Kaitlan Collins of fake news CNN, always stupid and nasty, asked me why the new ballroom was costing more money than originally thought 1 year ago. I said because it's going to be double the size and the quality of finishes and interiors has been brought to the highest level. Interestingly and seldom reported, there are no taxpayer dollars involved. It's being paid fully by private donations. Fake news CNN, the guy who runs the whole corrupt operation that owns it, is one of the worst in the business. Their ratings are so low that they're not even counted or relevant anymore."
That post prompted a response from Tapper, who's worked at CNN with Collins for more than 8 years together. He wrote on X, "Kaitlan Collins, she's smart, she's nice. It's a legitimate question about construction of a controversial project on White House grounds. Thanks for the explanation. Generally speaking, if someone or something is irrelevant, the president doesn't talk about them." In a separate incident, Trump appeared to question the intelligence of a reporter while taking questions aboard Air Force One. Here's the moment in question and Daily Show host Jon Stewart's reaction to it.
I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you
too.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Two things here that I love. The first is when he goes, "You too." And the woman on the right whose face is like, "The f*** did I do?" I'm just standing there. She's the one with the cognitive question. I'm just you couldn't finish the cognitive test and f*** you too. Like what?
And Stewart continued, suggesting that Trump has made a habit of lashing out at reporters, especially, apparently, according to Stewart, female reporters recently. Let's watch.
It seems like about a week ago, someone on Trump's press team was like, "You got to stop calling the female reporters ugly and piggy." And he was like, "Got it. I won't do that anymore at all. I know what I'll do. You're stupid."
Oh, Trump, how much you don't like him, Niall.
Well, I don't.
What?
I do, however, like in the Jon Stewart clip, the woman on the right who looks slightly perplexed is someone I do like a lot, which is Libby Dean from our sister network News Nation, who somehow got caught up in that exchange where Trump was directing his ire at someone and then brought Libby into it for some reason.
Who could assuredly ace a cognitive test.
Assuredly,
I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, well, with the Kaitlan Collins thing to begin with, it's a pretty standard question, questions about the renovation project, and then it is a question that permits him to give what is, I think, a probably pretty broadly favorable and acceptable pitch on behalf of the administration that actually this is being paid for not with taxpayer funds at all, entirely privately donated, which I think is a good thing. So you would think he would not necessarily lash out at the opportunity being afforded to him to make that clear. It's not really it's not a hostile question, is what I'm saying. It's a question from what he perceives to be a hostile network.
Yeah.
But he's also upset with how Fox News covers him and how the Wall Street Journal covers him, and he's just upset with everybody. And it's all got to be, we love you all the time. And I mean, come on, what do you want? That wouldn't be an independent press at all.
Absolutely. So, first of all, a completely legitimate question by Kaitlan Collins. I think Kaitlan Collins is a very good, legitimate journalist. It is true that Trump has issues with CNN for other reasons. It is also true that he can make the argument, which you've just outlined, about it being paid for private funds, but it is still a valid question to say, why has the expense now spiraled way up from what it had been? The bigger point, I think, beyond Kaitlan, who was unfairly criticised in those sort of weirdly petty terms. I think he called her stupid or something. Right. She obviously isn't.
I mean, she grilled. We talked about. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
She grilled Jasmine Crockett for wrongly smearing Republicans of having taken money from Jeffrey Epstein. It was a different Jeffrey Epstein. Mm-hmm. She went real hard on her for that. I like the perception that they never go hard on Democrats. And now they have panel shows where they actually do quite well represent. Mm-hmm. They have Batya Ungar-Sargon a lot. They've had other actual MAGA people. Scott Jennings does a great job. There's Kevin O'Leary. They have a range of perspective. They're just not. I know the old criticism of CNN that it was just, news, very anti-Trump under the guise of it being objective news. I don't think you can fairly say that about the network these days.
I agree.
So.
I agree. And I mean, I think that previous criticism was sort of much more under the Jeff Zucker years, where I think CNN, to its own detriment, got kind of dragged in sometimes to a trollish kind of thing. I don't think that is the case at this point. I certainly don't think it's the case with either Tapper or Collins. But the other point here, I think, is Trump's, one of the things that most mystifies me about Trump is how he poses as this macho or courageous figure. And that posture seems to be accepted by many of his supporters, while in fact he's the most thin-skinned, whiny person imaginable, asked completely normal questions, and he just goes off on people for it, as we're seeing here with Kaitlan. We see this in various other situations, and recently in ways that are even less acceptable. I mean, the quiet piggy thing, I mean, surely we can all agree that that's just disgraceful. There's no humour in that. That's just boorishness and bullying, and utterly, it would be disgraceful if the boss in an office environment did it, never mind the President of the United States.
The boss in an office environment did it? That would be the end for them?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying at the same time, but then I just can't clutch my pearls too much, because the anti-Trump commentary is also just as vicious and petty and insulting mocking of his appearance and all that related things. So then it's like, why should he behave? I mean, I think it would be better if the discourse was more civil and more about ideas and policies rather than petty, insulting characteristics. I think he might have been happier if he was just a insult, entertainment, comic figure, as he was before he entered politics. And he obviously brought a lot of the behavior that he manifested as a constant presence on television, on a network run by Jeff Zucker, frankly. He brought that to the presidency. He brought that same set of skills, and it has, for some reason, resonated with the American people.
Yeah, but you see, here's where I have a bit of an issue with that argument. I think it is true that Trump, in many ways, is more of a kind of, his model is more like talk radio, like Rush Limbaugh kind of shock jock in a way than it is a conventional politician. I think that's
It's just
true.
like Joan Rivers' red carpet commentary is what it is. Oh, you look fat today. Oh, that looks horrible. That's
yeah. But the point is, he's the president of the United States. And sometimes when people say, well, the anti-Trump commentary is the same as what he says, they're comparing the president of the United States on one hand with often rather online or fringy liberal, like, oh, Michael Moore said this, or Joy Reid said that, or Rachel Maddow said this, versus the President of the United States. No, I for what it's worth, I don't think Maddow or Joy Reid, Michael Moore's a different category. I don't think Maddow in particular indulges in that kind of personal invective, nor does Joy Reid for the most part. But the whole point here is that there should be higher standards expected of people in elected office. And to say that it would be the same on the Liberal side, I mean, if Caroline Levitt got into it in the briefing room with someone from a Liberal outlet, and that person from the Liberal outlet said, quiet, piggy, I mean, there'd be absolute uproar. Yeah. But yet it is permissible somehow, or Republicans at least minimize it when it comes from the President of the United States.
Yeah, he shouldn't have said it. There's no way around it. Shouldn't have said it.
Fair enough. Tucker Carlson is again getting slammed by conservative supporters of Israel after he interviewed Qatar's Prime Minister. We'll look at that up next.